Have you ever heard the phrase, if his lips are moving, he is lying?
It's not often I have to correct your headlines, Stig, but
Go on.
the headline there that said we promised to bring council tax bills down is simply untrue and has to be corrected. We said we would save money. I'll be giving a press conference in 2 weeks' time about that, but you must correct that untruth.
In this video, we're going to be looking at exposing Richard Tice, his lies, his contradictions, and his patronising stances and comments towards interviewers. And one of the biggest ones appears to be their ability to lower council tax, something that they promised last year. But it's not the first time they've been caught out lying. Have a listen to this.
Your health advisor, Asim Malhotra.
No, stop there.
Okay.
That is a disgraceful slander, and I want you to apologise.
Sorry?
That is a disgraceful slander. He is not a health advisor. He's never been a health advisor.
Yet only a few weeks earlier, the chairman of Reform said the complete opposite.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is a consultant cardiologist, and quite frankly, he is a brilliant clinician. He is a vociferous public health campaigner and says he is on a mission to save lives with real evidence-based medicine and real food. Now, I know this chap because he worked with me to write Reform UK's health policy. From that, he's currently helping to advise RFK Jr. and the Make America Healthy Action Group. And today, ladies and gentlemen, he is here to tell us how we make Britain healthy again.
That is a disgraceful slander, and I want you to apologise. Right, start again.
Completely wrong. What a surprise. Yes, we should start again, but before we do, I caught Richard out on another time he demanded an apology, and it turns out he was also wrong on that.
Show leadership on our side of the argument, the leadership that's been lacking from the top of the Labour Party, then Richard and Nigel and his friends, they can be defeated. And I think that that is what the Labour Party has to see in this. You've done a very good campaign, your social media's been brilliant, your events have been good, you've had all the rubles coming in and you've done very, very well. Hats off, you fought the only decent campaign, Richard.
Yes, Alistair Campbell suggested that Reform Party had been taking Russian rubles.
The former Welsh leader of Reform UK has pleaded guilty to accepting bribes to make pro-Russian statements.
I wonder if Richard will be apologising to Alistair Campbell. While I wait with bated breath for Richard to apologise, let's have a listen to what else he had to say about his councils.
The Warwickshire leaflet, we're talking about the local council, the Warwickshire leaflet.
We didn't say we'd bring the council tax bills down, but having put that on the record, I'm happy to move on.
No, you said, well, I've got, the Times quotes the leaflets. The Warwickshire Reform Party leaflet said, "We will cut your taxes." The Worcestershire Party leaflet said, "We will reduce waste and cut your taxes."
That is correct. The council leader for Reform in Leicestershire said he's going to cut taxes on day one. But they weren't the only ones offering that. Norwich North offered lower taxes. Multiple Reform councillors promised to lower taxes. And yet, according to Reform Party UK Exposed, we're now seeing at least 6 different councils all increasing their council tax by about 5%. So what does Richard have to say to that?
That sounds like promises to cut taxes to me.
We very clearly said at the campaigns that we would save waste, we would cut wasteful spending, and that's what we'll be talking about. We did not promise.
Sorry, I'm saying there's two leaflets from 2 Reform campaigns in local elections, one in Warwickshire, one in Worcestershire, and they say the phrase "cut your taxes," Richard.
Those leaflets, bills, but we specifically we never said that at the party leadership level, so I just want that to be corrected.
He says he wants that to be corrected, and yet when we look at some of the leaflets sent out, at best they're inferring that taxes will not go up, or they'll do major cuts, which infers that they're going to lower tax bills. And when you ask Grok to give an analysis of what Richard Tice had been saying, it clearly states that there was going to be a great British tax cut in councils. And when you look at the leaflets, it doesn't get much better, because Reform will fix it by reducing council tax waste. Go on X and have a look at Reform's account. You'll see that they're promising to lower council tax. And if you have a look at the Kent Reform leaflet that went out, not only does it have Nigel Farage's face, which seems to always be on there endorsing the product, it also makes a clear promise that they're going to cut taxes. Yet despite all that evidence, Richard Tice has just sat there looking at you and talking to the Radio Times, telling you this is all one big lie, whilst at the same time demanding an apology. What we have here is what you see in the movie The Shining, what you might call gaslighting, where Tice has tried to convince someone that they're wrong, and has doubled down on it by trying to make them apologise.
The headline there that said we promised to bring council tax bills down is simply untrue, but you must correct that untruth.
That is a disgraceful slander, and I want you to apologise.
And Jack does something very similar in The Shining. He is having a full-blown conversation with a ghost. There is no one there. And yet he's talking to them about how hard life is and all the misdeeds and wrongs he's done in his life, but they aren't really wrongs and misdeeds, they're just misunderstandings. And despite the fact his wife then turns up to suggest that there's someone in the hotel, Jack accuses her of being...
Are you out of your mind?
And yet here we are with Richard Tice trying to accuse Radio Times of making stuff up.
But at the local level, which is where indeed local elections take place, the leaflet said we will cut your taxes in Warwickshire, and in Worcestershire said they will cut your taxes. What I'm saying to you.
Then you send me those leaflets, because I'm telling you that Nigel and I, we very clearly said we will cut waste, we will cut wasteful spending, unproductive spending. We'll give an update on that in 2 weeks' time.
Now, despite all the evidence, there is another possibility here. Maybe Richard Tice doesn't know what's going on in his own party. And considering what's taking place with Richard Bull making that comment and Richard Tice demanding another apology for that, and the fact they hadn't got a clue that they had a Russian spy in their midst, it does tend to beg the question, do they really know what's going on in their own party? And if so, you would slightly expect them to begin an investigation to make sure there were no further Russian spies. But according to Zia Youssef, a lead in the Reform Party, they've started no such investigation.
Reform's former leader in Wales, who will be sentenced soon for taking cash bribes to make pro-Russia statements while he was a member of the European Parliament. Mr Farage says he was shocked when he heard about that, and he knew Nathan Gill well.
But in particular, it's a big victory for Nathan Gill, our leader in Wales, an honest, decent, honourable man who's been loyal to me and the party at all times. Nathan, you've led UKIP Wales into this, and well done you.
Is there anyone else in your party who could be taking bribes from pro-Russian politicians?
I don't believe so. Look, I've never met Nathan Gill.
So.
I've never met Nathan Gill. Just to be clear, it was long before my time inside the party.
I'm asking about now. And you say you don't believe
what
so?
Nathan Gill did
No,
was
I'm asking
treacherous.
about now.
He has pleaded guilty.
I'm asking
and
about
we condemn it in the strongest possible terms,
your
Victoria.
members and politicians.
I've never met him. I was the chairman for a significant period of time
about Nathan Gill.
over the last year. I've never met the guy. Nigel did know him from his time as an MEP. But I will tell you this, what Reform care about are the British people. We care about putting their needs first. Of course we condemn that treachery. In the strongest possible terms.
Could there be anyone in your party who could be taking bribes from pro-Russian politicians?
No, of course not.
Which world leader did I admire? And I said Vladimir Putin as an operator. The unnecessary provocation of Vladimir Putin. If you poke the Russian bear with a stick, don't be surprised when he reacts.
Right, because a few moments ago you said, I don't believe so. Now you're emphatic.
Well, of course not.
I've
literally never met the guy.
No, how do you know?
And it was long ago. When he was the Welsh leader for Reform are polling at sub 1% in Wales, Victoria. As a start-up party, this is ancient history as far as Reform.
You've just told our audience on the second answering that no, of course not, no one else is taking bribes from pro-Russian politicians. How do you know that?
Well, I know that in the same way any other politician from any other party would know that. I know the people who are around Nigel. Again, let me reiterate, I have never met Nathan Gill, nor have I ever spoken to him.
No worries.
And I only got involved with the party full-time post the general election. There is nobody like that inside the party at the moment.
No, only kidding. Of course they haven't started an investigation into whether or not they've got any Russian spies in their party.
The danger is, though, that people believe a Reform Council would not be doing the same old, and the same old is having council taxes increasing, and that's exactly what's happening. 8 out of 13 are going to have increased council taxes.
Have you heard of inflation?
I have, yes.
Condescending, acting arrogantly by assuming greater importance, intelligence or superiority over another.
Have you heard of inflation?
I have, yes.
As you witnessed with Richard Tice, that's happened a few times, but also it's happened with Nigel Farage.
Hang on.
Had you have been in power a bit...
That's all I understood. Stop it. No, you're not listening to a single word I'm saying.
I am listening to you.
No, you're not. You're not. You're dealing with this
I'm disagreeing with you.
Right.
It's okay for us to disagree on this.
We can agree to disagree if you listen.
Right, well then, you've got inflation, so, everybody's bills go up as a standard by the rate of inflation. It's then what you can do in terms of saving money, cutting wasteful spending, in order to reduce the rate of growth of bills. That's the key point.
Except it's not, because they're raising council tax rates by 5% in at least 6 reform-controlled councils. But when they're talking about this waste, which they, by the way, haven't found, it's really interesting because actually putting money into the council creates savings. So, for example, instead of everyone owning a car and having to run a car, if everyone chips in a little bit of money together, they can all afford to go on a bus, which means they save money because they're not having to pay for an MOT, the VAT, the road tax, the petrol, the insurance on a car.
I guess the issue is, though, that the Times quotes numerous, as I said, the Warwickshire one, the Worcestershire one, Dan Harrison, the leader of Leicestershire County Council, promised tax cuts on his first day in office, but has all since said it has an ambition to increase bills by 3%. What I'm saying is, you can talk about the national level all you like. At local level, people got in saying we're going to cut taxes, and that hasn't happened.
And for me, that's kind of the joke, because believing that multimillionaires who tax dodge are fighting for the working class requires a comical level of delusion and/or ignorance. And when you look at reform on the bigger scale, you can see that 25 to 30 councillors have either resigned, been expelled or defected, 4 are under criminal investigation, 2 MPs, Lowe and McMurdoch, have left, the Welsh leader Gill has pleaded guilty to Russian bribery. That is an extensive amount of damage to the party, and most of those who are left, they're ex-Tory. So nothing's really changed. But unfortunately, some of those out there don't care. They still claim they're voting for Tories. I mean, reform.
That's the spirit, George. If nothing else works, then a total pig-headed unwillingness to look facts in the face will see us through.
Unfortunately, history doesn't seem to provide much of a solution to this problem, but maybe you can leave your thoughts in the comments. Otherwise, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps spread this type of information in a video around YouTube. Once again, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of my Patreon and YouTube subscribers. You keep this channel going and growing. Once again, thanks for listening. Bye for now.